Siberia. Siberia is not Serbia. Yeah, it's a different place. Like Serbia is a separate country, if you might know, and Siberia is the Asian part in Russia.
Okay, because I know that it is the coldest place uh,
Yeah, exactly.
in the earth. Maybe we can
Yeah,
say like
sure,
that.
sure.
Yeah,
You're right. Yes.
maybe North
Yeah,
Antarctica
exactly.
is coldest, but as a country,
Uh-huh.
it's a coldest
Uh-huh.
place, and it's very difficult to
Yeah, sure,
survive
sure.
there.
Well, depends if you are used to it from the birth. It's okay.
Yeah. So, where did you born, and where did you do your schooling and high schooling and
Mhm.
university days? If you like to share something about it.
Well, I was born in a city, Novosibirsk, so it's
Okay.
in the south of Siberia.
Okay.
It's like not far from the border with Kazakhstan and Mongolia, if you
Yeah.
look on. So actually, that place, it's not very cold. Like I know that some foreigners consider that it's cold all the year, but it's not. As in the south of Siberia, the summer is pretty hot. It's like plus 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the winter is the opposite, like minus 30. So
Mm.
basically, uh, so different climate that you're used to weather,
Mm-hmm.
both weather types. Like you can stay in cold winter and you can live in hot summer. And my city has around 3 million people, so
Okay.
it's quite a big city uh,
Yeah.
for the standards of that region.
Mm-hmm.
Um, mm, so I went to a school there. I went to a university there as well. And then after I graduated from the university, my first experience to live abroad was an exchange program that I did in China.
Wow. So your first abroad journey started after your university days. That's cool.
Mhm. Uh, yeah, it was really nice experience. Like before, of course, when I was a child, I used to travel, but it was not for a long time, and I traveled with my parents, so it's a different experience. But of course, I went to different places for vacation, and when I was a child, my father lived in Germany as he was invited to teach in Germany as a professor.
Wow.
And during that time, during summer holidays, we visited him. But uh, to live abroad for myself, uh, I mean by myself as uh, as a student, my first experience was when I was 21. So that
Mm-hmm.
time I graduated from the university in Russia. We graduate a little bit earlier than people in Europe, for example, as we enter the university mostly at the age of 16. So when I was 21, I
Mm.
already got my master's degree, and then I went to a student exchange, which was 1 year in the north of China in a city, Dalian.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting that the city has a story connected with Russia, as it's not far from the Russian border. And the name of the city, which Chinese people pronounce as Dalian, it comes to the root of the Russian word Dальний, which means like distant, far away.
Mm-hmm.
And it was under control of Russian Empire for some period of time. That's why this name it's connected with the Russian language, and they have some places connected with Russian history. So it was nice to see,
Mm-hmm.
nice to spend 1 year there.
And did you go by EVS or any other kind of program, or did you just try to apply by yourself? Or how did you go
Mhm.
for exchange program?
Yeah, as in my city, there is a Confucius Institute. So Confucius Institute is an organization or uh, collaboration between China and other countries. It exists in different countries in the world. For example, here in Germany, it exists as well, and I believe in multiple countries. So, yeah, for everyone who is a student of Confucius Institute, there is an opportunity to apply for an exchange language program, and I applied, and basically it's just about writing motivational letter. There is no exam as
Mm-hmm.
exam. I mean, which pass. You just need to explain why do you need to go there and explain what you are doing as your
Mm-hmm.
profession. So then, if they consider that it's beneficial to invite you, and they will cover all the expenses for studies, and also they provide student allowance like stipend every month.
And what did you study at university?
Well, in Russia, in university, I studied international law.
That's cool.
So, well, it's pretty useful. Yeah. So, mm, I did international law in Russia, and uh, that's why later when I started to live abroad, somehow my work, it was somehow always connected with legal field.
Mm-hmm.
Even I never became a lawyer, like I mean lawyer in a sense, somebody who has a license and who goes to the court, for example, because
Mm-hmm.
if you live in another country, I mean, as I studied international law in Russia, so for example, if I would like to practice law here in Germany, I need to learn German law. So, and when I stay somewhere else, I need to learn the law of this country. So I never worked as a lawyer, and it's not my target. But with the international law, I always worked in startups connected with mm, like corporate services,
Corporate law, yeah.
corporate legal services.
Legal service, yeah.
Yeah, because this field is quite international. And in this field, there are many options for remote job, which is also pretty nice.
So basically, you are right now freelancer. You can travel and work anywhere like that.
Well, I'm not a freelancer. I work for a company. It's an international company, but the job is remote, so it doesn't matter uh, where I am located at the moment. It's just required that I
So,
perform my job. Yeah,
so can we
it's
say that?
it's employment. Yeah.
Can we say that Germany is your second home, as a second home,
Uh,
because your father
uh,
worked there? So maybe you are very comfortable in Germany. And how many languages do you speak? Did you learn Chinese as well?
well, for the first question, as you asked, is here it's a second home. Well, for me, before when I used to travel a lot, I asked myself what is the meaning of home itself. So then I understand that for me, home is not connected with one place, but home it's more a feeling, like when you feel home, when you are surrounded by people who understand you. It's not a specific territory. As
Mm-hmm.
so after so After I finished my studies in China, then I used to live in different countries. Sometimes I went to different countries as a participant of the project. For example, I did a lot of volunteering
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger, and mm, I did some project work.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when I need to go to work in a place for a certain period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And also I did a remote job when I started remote job before it became so popular during pandemic. I started actually my first remote work. It was back in 2015. So
Mm-hmm.
in 2015, I worked remotely as a paralegal. And at that time, I was able to travel in the South Asia. Um, so as I spent good quality of time in good quality time in different countries, then I started to ask myself, what is really home? Is it a certain place? For example, when I go back to my hometown to visit my mom, usually I go to my hometown like once a year, or well, it depends on the situation, but I still go there pretty often, I can say. So then I understand that even it's a place where I grew up, but I don't feel real connection because people there, their mentality is now so different
Different.
from mine.
Mm.
So that's why for me home is more about people. So I go to my hometown because I love to see my mom, not because I miss the place itself. And if my mom moves to somewhere else, I will go to a place where she lives, not my hometown.
And is it true that Russian people are very serious look they have, they do not smile or something like that, or it's just men don't smile, or it's a kind of tradition, or it's just a myth?
Hmm.
They always look
Well,
serious,
yeah,
like a James Bond.
I think, yeah, so funny. Yeah, I think that you can notice that some Russian people don't smile because they don't know you yet. So when they start to know a person, then they become really friendly with you. As for us, we are not so open with strangers, I would say. For example, as in Europe, it's normal when you go outside on the street and then you see like someone is smiling to you, someone is looking to you. Mm. So that's why we usually have jokes like if in Europe somebody looks at you and it means this person would like to say have a nice day, hello. But for us, we try to avoid like
Eye
eye
contact.
contact with somebody we don't know yet, I mean, who is not
Mm.
our friend.
So this
But when the
thing
person is,
don't work in Russia, right? If I go in maybe some place, but I guess in Moscow or maybe St. Petersburg, there is a new generation. They started to doing it, but other part maybe if I go and try to approach someone or just say hello, maybe they will not respond. Okay.
they will respond, of course, but I mean, that's something that we usually don't do. I mean, we are very open when we are friends,
Mm.
but we don't like just to stare at strangers, for example, when we smile in a positive way.
So it's
Stare
the
at the
same
strangers.
situation like India. In India, people
Ah,
don't greet anyone like that. So when
interesting.
Indians go to other countries, so they surprise. They
Yeah.
surprise. Why are that person's calling me and say hello?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah,
actually
sure.
European people or American people are very soft spoken. So
Yeah. Mhm.
we feel that why this person is speaking so softly. What he want,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's
And
interesting, is it for you, the difference between cultures in the north and in the south, as I know that people are so different in the north and in the south of India. So
yeah,
is it the same, the common behavior? Or?
behavior is kind of common because all people are kind of same, but yeah, language is totally different. So whenever you travel in or anybody travel in India, they have to think like that they are traveling in Europe. So all Europe have a different languages in different countries. So in India, all state have a different languages
Mm-hmm.
and different food. So language is different, food is also
Yeah.
different. Yeah,
Yeah, but all of them doesn't matter in the north. In the south, they have common behavior, like as you told, that they
yeah.
greet someone
For
who's
foreigner,
already their
it's
friend.
common. For foreigner, it's very common. But for Indian, they feel little bit of difference. But this generation, everybody want to graduate and want to find a good job. So everybody have a same target.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody are focusing on that way. So as an
Mm-hmm.
example, if some person go for a job in Bangalore or Mumbai, so they find students from graduates from all over the India. So they talk
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
different things. Where are you applying for a job? And they go for a tea. In few minutes they become friend. So it doesn't matter for south, north
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
at
Mm-hmm.
that moment
Mm-hmm.
because everybody having same kind of target. Like lot of people are
Mm-hmm.
want a lot of people want to settle down in USA, Canada, or Australia, New Zealand, like countries. So
Mm-hmm.
they appearing for IELTS exam. So over there they meet up,
Mm-hmm.
they become friend, they started having same goal.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, it doesn't matter much. But if
Mhm.
you find a person who speak your language, it's very comfortable to make a good relation.
Oh yeah, sure. Obviously.
So we don't need to put
Yeah.
effort to speak, you know.
Yeah, 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 sure, sure, I understand. Yeah.
So
Makes
most of
sense.
the people, young people know English. So if person don't know another language, like in South India,
Mhm.
actually Hindi and English people know, but in South part of India they don't want to speak Hindi. They didn't accept Hindi as a national language, so sometimes they don't speak, but
Mhm.
they speak English, so we can communicate with
Mm.
them.
Yeah, I understand. And you are from the north, right?
So
Yeah,
did
I
you
understand.
travel whole Russia or you didn't travel yet? Is it possible to travel?
Well, I did not travel the whole Russia, but I traveled many places like in the east of Russia because in Siberia we have a lot of great natural spots. The most famous are Baikal Lake, the deepest lake in the world.
Yeah.
So it's located, well, I can say not far from my hometown, but I mean, it depends how you count the distance. Like, uh, if I go by train, it will be like almost one complete day
Hmm.
to go, but we consider it's near because we have big territory.
Very, very big.
And another, yeah, and another place is Altai Mountain. This is
Yeah.
to the south, like it goes to the border between Russia and Mongolia, and those mountains we consider it a place of power. Like people usually go there for meditations, for spiritual retreats, and from my city, it's possible to drive there, and it's always an attractive place for foreigners.
Yeah, actually, Indian YouTube vloggers make this part of Russia very popular.
Ah, you mean Altai? Yeah.
Altai
So that's
Mountains
yeah.
and Serbia as well, because they put thumbnail with the ice on their sorry, uh, ice on the ice, like photo. They
Yeah, yeah,
put photos on the thumbnail.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Maybe you know people love to take this kind of photo with the face covered with
Hmm.
white ice, white snow.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's from my region. So yeah,
Yeah. So they write
yeah, you're right.
minus 70 or minus 50 degree. I live in Serbia, something
Huh.
like that, in the coldest place on the earth,
Yeah,
and something catchy things, you know. They show that
yeah, like
seller vendors sell frozen fish and a lot of things like that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, we don't have, of course, minus 50. It's more to the north. I mean, in my hometown, we don't have such low
Okay.
temperatures, but then those your friends, YouTubers whom you are talking about, they might go to the north. Like north is not so populated as there are no big cities. I mean, there are no cities with at least 1 million of people.
Mm-hmm.
So mostly there are only small towns, villages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's colder and it's more hard to maintain
Mm-hmm.
uh, the regular life there. But yeah, for tourists, it's interesting. As basically in Siberia, the population is concentrated on the south. If you heard maybe about the Trans-Siberian train, so it goes in the
Yeah.
south. And in the south, the climate is pretty mild, and especially like now with the uh,
Mm-hmm.
trend for global warming. So it's not really cold. Uh, of course, depends with what you are comparing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not really cold, for example, like in the north. So people like my city is on the Trans-Siberian Railway, and the city with Lake Baikal,
Mm-hmm.
Irkutsk, and Ulan-Ude, they also on Trans-Siberian Railway. So this region is more populated with, uh, it has more cities in the south of Siberia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in the north, maybe such places what
In
that
YouTube,
YouTuber
they
make
say
video.
minus 91 degree, 71. Sorry. In YouTube, they
Yeah,
say, maybe you can see, I
yeah,
don't know. They say minus
I see.
71 Serbia. So actually, surviving in the coldest place on the earth. Oi, Oymyakon,
I think the
Oymyakon,
name of the
Oymyakon,
Mekong.
Russia.
Yeah. It's in the north. Yeah.
It's in the north. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. That's that's in the north. Yeah.
So they are talking about that place. That's cool. And
Yeah.
how did you feel
Yeah.
in China? Can you share some experiences, your cultural shocks or your surprise, similarity, differences by terms of
Well, like
language,
cultural shock. I would not say.
technology,
Okay. Mhm.
infrastructure, what food? What did you see over there which you surprised totally? Did you see any monkey or elephants in China as well?
Yeah. Like I cannot say that I. Mhm. Yeah. Sure. Sorry for interruption. Yeah. So it was not cultural shock because I, my city in the university, we have many exchange students who come from China. So as I already communicated with them, and we have many people. Not a cultural shock to me, but what was surprising is that, like, first, to me, it was surprising how Chinese people dedicate a lot of time and effort to their studies and to their work. For example, before I considered that we in Russia, we dedicate a lot of time to study, well, especially to study, like work, it depends on which industry you are in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but if I compare with European style, for example, and I ask my friends who did school and university in Europe, then I understand that in Europe, the education system is more targeted for like personal development, and they try to understand what the child or student of the university really likes, and then the person develops in this direction. While in Russia, we consider that still important to memorize a lot of stuff at school. And mm, when I was in high school, and when I was in high school, I really put a lot of efforts uh, to achieve good marks because I needed to get into my university in Russia to study for free.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, during university, also it was very important for me to develop professionally. And after the second grade of university, after I completed 2 years, I started to work in a work connected with my profession. I mean, as I know in many countries, students mostly work like in the delivery, maybe, or in the restaurant, or in the uh, clothes store, because they work in order to achieve money, and the most important is the income. Mm, I mean, income to sustain, income to live with while they are students. I mean, for those who live not together with parents. As in Russia, for example, for us, when we are university students, for us, many people, they still live together with parents. I mean, majority.
Yeah.
So when I was a student, I lived in my mom's house. Um, but we put a lot of efforts into specifically the study, like as a field. Maybe I feel it more strong because I come from a family with scientific background. As I
Mm.
told you, my father, he was teaching in the university, and my mom is a school teacher. So maybe this also could influence, but in general, I see that many Russian people are more study-oriented than Europeans, let's say, Westerners. But then when I came to China, I understand that, oh no, like, I mean, they are really much more study focused, as they can study from morning till night. And after the university classes, they can go to the library and to study more. And also besides that, when they work, they also work really hard. And so after I did 1 year of studies in Dalian, then I moved to Guangzhou, and I took a job in a company. Like uh, I was responsible for sales of electronic products to Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I see like how my Chinese colleagues work, that they are really all the time available, and in the evening they prefer to speak with clients and to stay at work, then I understand that this is something like extreme. I
Yeah.
don't say that this is wrong
So
or this
basically,
is,
they do overtime.
yeah. For me, it was extreme. So I feel like we as Russians, we are neither on the eastern side nor on the western side. Like we do something in between. We still put a lot of efforts in study, but then it depends on the company where you work, on the corporate culture.
That's cool. So actually, yeah, I also heard about this thing that Chinese students put lot of efforts to clear
Yeah,
some exams to get a free
yeah,
education or maybe subsidy education. Yeah.
yeah. It's also maybe because in China it's very hard for Chinese people to study for scholarship. For example,
Mm.
they should really have great achievements in order to receive the scholarship, as normally majority study for payment.
Mm.
For us in Russia, it depends. I mean, in Russia also majority studies for payment, but there are
Government
every
university as
university
well.
has, yeah. So every university in Russia, it has a certain number of places. Like for example, when I was entering my university in ranking, it has it's number 3 in Russia, like country-wise, nation-wise, it's number 3.
Mm.
And so it's a pretty good university. And when I was entering, like for example, in my department, which is legal department, we had 14 students who can
Mm-hmm.
study for free, 14 places, and there were around like 200 students who studied for payment. So
Oh.
how we decide, like how the university decides who study for free, as
Mm-hmm.
when we apply to the university, we need to pass the exam,
Mm-hmm.
and the exam is it's called national exam.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, like national admission exam.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone can participate in his own city and then apply to a university, let's say from another city, by submitting those results. I mean, for us, it's competitive to study for free, but it's not so competitive. It's still like I can pass, like I passed to study for free. So it's still possible to finish.
Wow. So actually, maybe you also know that a lot of Indian medical students come to Russian
Mhm.
countries to study medicine. Have you observed it?
Ah,
Did you see it anywhere?
well, like
In
mhm.
Serbia as well,
In
in
my
Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Armenia, Georgia,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Novosibirsk, Moscow, St.
yeah.
Petersburg as well.
Mhm. Like in my university, I did not see many Indian exchange students, but I know that some of them came for physics department,
Mm-hmm.
like physics and electronics, and for the medical university, as I mean, the university I studied in, it's
Separate.
just a classical state university, so it's not like a medical academy. But we also have a medical academy. I don't know about this too much because they are on another side of the city, but they have a lot of foreign students. No, I'm sure they have many Indian students too. And also I know many Indian people from IT field who live abroad,
Mm-hmm.
who moved abroad for work,
Mm-hmm.
like here in Germany and in Belgium. So I know that it's quite popular, like mostly in IT field and in physics.
Yeah, actually, in Germany, a lot of Indian students go there for masters and PhD. So after that, they work over there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
so that's the reason. So when did you meet the Indian person first time? At what age?
First time, oh,
If
I
you
don't
remember.
remember. In childhood, yeah. First time, yeah, I cannot say like this because mm, I think in childhood, I don't remember
Childhood.
honestly.
Okay.
In childhood, like when I was a child in Russia. Because as I told, in my home city, there are people from different countries. So we have people from India in my city. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how many did you meet in Germany? Do
Oh,
they
yeah, also,
do
yeah.
they speak random person like as we discussed the first? Do they say hello?
Well, it depends.
Have you-
Yeah, well, it
because
depends
they are
because
not also used to do it, but yeah.
yeah, it depends because if they come for an event, for example, like I usually go to events like maybe you know the platform Meetup.
Hmm.
So if I go to an event from Meetup, then I met Indian people there. So of course, when you come to a meeting, you already understand that you're going to meet with foreigners, and it's one community where you should speak. Then maybe also you heard about a platform called Internations. Like Internations, it's a platform to connect expats in different
Yeah,
countries.
expat.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I know that they have many Indian people in the Internations community. So Internations basically it exists in different cities in the world, and they have monthly organized meetings for expats. So and there are many Indians there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I met many Indian people when I used to live in Malaysia for a while for a project. And in Malaysia, like mostly they come from
South India.
Bangalore and
South India,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
actually, it's a
And
craze. So South Indian people used to work in Singapore, Dubai, Malaysia,
yeah,
these all countries.
yeah,
Out of 10 house, maybe 7,
yeah,
8 house have one person live on this place.
yeah,
Even on the airport, you will find a lot of South Indians in Singapore,
yeah, 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 yeah,
Malaysia.
yeah, 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 exactly. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Dubai as well. Like I did not stay in Dubai for a long time. I just visited Dubai for my work.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, in Dubai also there are many Indian people.
Mm. Actually, they have a culture of collecting more and more gold. So for that reason,
Mhm.
they try to work abroad, so they can easily
Ah,
buy more gold.
yeah, yeah, I understand.
A lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people having maybe 2 kg, 3 kg of gold over there.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe good luck, or they have a kind of for saving. They use it,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So if there
Yeah,
is
yeah,
no currency exist, gold can again use as a
mm.
currency. So that
Yeah, 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 yeah. Ah, so do you mean that national currency is not good enough at the moment to
no, no, I'm just
buy?
saying that is an example. If
Ah,
if we go in the old routes, they use
mhm.
gold and silver coins as a
Yeah,
currency.
yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
this kind of thing also useful
Mm.
if this kind of
Yeah,
situation
sure,
happen.
you're right. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. And how many countries did you travel in Europe? Did you
Oh,
get a
wow,
time?
good question. I know that in total I traveled to 47, but I
Most of
don't
the
count.
we can say most of the places you travel, and after some time maybe you will feel the same kind of setup everywhere. So it
Yeah.
doesn't mean to travel over there as well. Did you feel like
Yeah,
that?
you're right. Like I cannot say that I visited really a lot of countries in Europe, for example, as I've never been to Scandinavian region. And yeah, I've never been to Scandinavian region. I've never been to the UK. Uh, so there are still many places which I did not explore yet. So mostly I travel. I can't say I traveled more in Asia than in Europe. Uh,
So did you travel expensive countries like Norway, Switzerland, uh,
no,
uh,
no, I've
what we
been
say,
there.
London? They are so expensive for us as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
better to go to Vietnam. It's more cheap. We
yeah,
can
you're
easily
right.
spend money
Yeah,
and live like a luxury life.
yeah,
No need to worry
yeah, yeah, yeah,
about conversion counting in
yeah,
the
you're right.
mind.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, basically I traveled to like some countries in Europe, some countries in Asia. Also, I did the trip to Latin America, like I went to 8
Wow,
countries
that's cool.
there.
That's cool. Latin America, I also like to travel in future, but
Mm-hmm.
it's very far from here. Takes a lot of
Uh,
time, and
uh-huh.
ticket price is also high from India because it takes a
Mm.
different route. So very long
Do you
route.
go with the Pacific route? Do
So
you go with
actually,
the Pacific Ocean route, right? I went that direction.
mostly flight go to maybe Canada or London, and then
Mhm.
transit to the any Latin
Ah,
American countries.
okay,
So
yeah, I understand.
so
So
there is
you
one
cross Pacific Ocean, not Atlantic.
yeah.
Yeah, the same part.
So actually there is one special reason as there is one secret as well why there is no direct flight from
Mhm.
Asia to Latin America. So
Okay, ah,
yeah, so there is one scientific reason for that as well. I recently know about it, but we will talk in
which one?
second part